Hello there, my very good friends. Andy Murray here for WhatCulture Wrestling on a Saturday. What am I doing here on a Saturday? Well, big stories are breaking everywhere at the moment. When I say everywhere, I mean AEW. We've got some release news from AEW here. It's not something we've really had to deal with from the company since it came into existence because they haven't let a whole lot of people go. But as of the way things are right now, we've got somebody whose contract has expired to talk about. We've got someone whose contract is expiring and is about to become a free agent to talk about. And on top of that, reports that more may be on the way, including free expiring contracts that may or may not be renewed. Gonna cover them all right here, right now, and we're gonna begin with something we know for sure. Lio Rush. Lio Rush is on his way out of AEW as of the 14th of February. We know this because Lio tweeted it himself just a few short hours ago. He said, "I am now a free agent. I'm a free agent." Pretty straightforward, right? But there's some additional details here. Lio included an image saying on 14th of February 2022, my contract will expire with AEW and I will become a free agent. And he's got an email address, leorushnow@gmail.com, if you, dear viewer, want to book him. But yeah, Lio, I think it's safe to say he's had quite a complicated AEW run, right? He debuted at Double or Nothing last year, Casino Battle Royale, Joker, cool, great to see him. Injury, sucks. Decides he's going to retire, decides to come out of retirement, and he signed with AEW, I think it was September, late September, has the run on TV with Dante Martin and Team Taz and all of that stuff, but just kind of stops appearing. I believe his last match, I've got it written down here actually, don't need to believe anything when you got it written down, the 8th of December was his last match. He hasn't wrestled for them since then. Now, we've got some additional details here from Fightful Select coming through with the report stating that AEW talent and staff they were made aware basically that Lio wasn't going to be returning to the promotion. They were made aware of this during yesterday's Rampage tapings. Lio hadn't been seen backstage since December. He had a previously scheduled appearance for December that ended up not happening for whatever reason. So there's clearly some bits and pieces going on. Now, Lio, of course, you know, he came in, he was around for a few months, he disappeared. I guess a lot of people have been wondering where the heck he is. Recently, he spoke up when Big Swole was obviously parted ways. She parted ways with AEW, and Tony Khan made a tweet that he shouldn't have tweeted, and we've been quite clear about our stance on that tweet. Lio spoke out, said it wasn't cool. Later on tweeted that him and Tony had a conversation and he was looking forward to helping things move forward, helping things progress. I think that when you have a situation like this, speculation, in my opinion, dangerously, is going to try and tie the two things together. I'm not going to do that here. I think that's a little reckless. I think that people are maybe jumping to conclusions on this matter. But from my personal standpoint, I've been a Lio Rush guy for a long time. I've said it on video countless times. I think he's one of the best high flyers in the game. I think he's a great example of a smaller wrestler who uses their smaller frame as an advantage and works around that and crafts a style based around being evasive and striking fast where they can't use power, etc, etc. I'm a big fan of what Lio does in and out of the ring. I'm looking forward to watching him do good things wherever he lands. Of course, he's done work with New Japan. He's on the big GCW show tomorrow as well. He's going to get bookings. It's Lio Rush, man. He's immediately one of the most exciting guys on the indie circuit. It's a shame we won't be able to see more of him in AEW. I was looking forward to more of the Dante Martin storyline in particular. But yeah, that's where we are right now. Couple of weeks, Lio Rush isn't going to be an AEW wrestler anymore. It does seem, you know, like there might be a bit of mutual respect between him and I've seen Tony Khan liking his tweets over the past few days, for example, and he's spoken highly of his relationship with AEW and all of that stuff. So maybe we'll see him back at some point. For now, he's at least leaving as a contracted wrestler. Now, one contract that has now expired, Peter Avalon. We've spoken about Peter Avalon a couple of times on the news over the past couple of weeks. We had the Fightful Select report with the outlet stating that they'd learned in December that his contract, Avalon's, would be expiring sometime around now. Then Avalon was booked for the 15th of January, which is last weekend, the Dark tapings at Universal Studios. We then had Leva Bates. She was on Twitter responding to fans who were kind of chattering when Avalon announced he was going to be doing some independent dates. Leva Bates said, no, he's just branching out. He's going to still be doing stuff with AEW. But as Per PW Insider's Mike Johnson here, Avalon's contract has now expired. He may end up working with the promotion on a pay-per-appearance deal going forward, but that's not confirmed. That's up in the air at the moment. Now, Avalon is, pretty much a day one AEW wrestler. He was brought in, I think it was an episode of Being the Elite actually, that they announced they'd signed the guy. I think around April 2019, certainly before Dynamite was a thing. He had the Librarian storyline. When that elapsed, he had the fun, I thought, feud with Brandon Cutler on Dark. The idea being that neither of them could win. They kept having countouts and double DQ. It was fun. It was a fun YouTube show storyline. The Wingmen, that's what he's been doing recently, of course, with Cesar Bononi, Ryan Nemeth, and J.D. Drake. But it looks like Avalon's contract has expired now. Will we see him again on Dark and Elevation, which is where he's done the vast majority of his work? Well, he was used at the latest taping, so I guess there's your answer to that. Yeah, maybe we'll see him come back in every now and then. I thought Avalon did a good job. He was a jobber guy in AEW, right? Not someone they were ever really going to push as a televised commodity, but he played his role. Jobbers are important and undervalued, I think, particularly in the modern era. But it looks like for now, Avalon's contract has expired. No news on him renewing or anything like that. Maybe he will at some point. For now, technically a free agent. Now, we're going to wrap this up by talking some of the stuff from the Fightful Select report on Leo's departure, talking about the potential of further AEW departures in the near future. Basically saying that Rush's contract, his expiring contract, is one of several that is due to come up over the next month or so. AEW will not be publicly announcing anyone who's leaving. That comes from Fightful Select. They came out with it first. Later, PW Insider's Mike Johnson publishing a similar report from his sources, saying that additional departures will be coming in the next 30 to 60 days. Several contracts will not be renewed in AEW, and deals will be allowed to quietly lapse. Again, AEW are not going to announce these departures themselves. Now, departing talents, like we've just covered with Avalon and Rush, may be used on a pay-per-appearance deal going forward, but that's not confirmed, up in the air. Now, the outlet has also learned three expiring contracts, three names who may be part of this group. We got Marco Stunt, Joey Janela, and Brian Cage. They're working on expiring contracts that come up very, very soon. There is always the chance that they might renew, but there's been no news of that so far. Janela we've spoken about recently. He's not been on Dynamite since like the middle of last year, but he's all over the place on YouTube. Dark and Dark Elevation. He has previously stated himself, hey, my deal's up in May, and I believe he was on the My Mom's Basement podcast a few months ago, and he said, yeah, I'm going to have to step it up. Whether or not he was kayfabe in there, who knows? It's Joey. We know he likes to get people talking. But Brian Cage hasn't been on TV for ages either. There was obviously the incident with Melissa Santos, Brian's wife, Brian's husband, Melissa Santos, the Impact Wrestling ring announcer, tweeting, hey, I would like to see him used maybe a little bit better, which is fair enough. She's Brian's wife. She's of course want to see her husband doing a little bit better on TV. There was a big kerfuffle, shall we say, a bit of a furore around that, but I think it was a little bit overblown personally. We'll see what comes of Cage. He's not been used since October, not been on TV, and Marco Stunt has just completely vanished. Completely vanished. He doesn't even hang around with Jurassic Express anymore. Christian Cage seems to have come in and gone, hey guy, go away. I'm Christian Cage, you're Marco Stunt, get lost. But I like Marco. I think he's really good at getting squashed by massive guys like Lance Archer. So, no confirmation that these people will be on their way out of the company, but they are on expiring deals. Maybe some will be renewed, maybe they won't. Now, just kind of summarize this a little bit. We'll get through it. Leo Rush leaving AEW as of 14th of February. Peter Avalon, now gone, technically, although I guess we could see him making freelance appearances, and there will be more expiring deals on the way. Look, we knew this stuff was coming. We've covered it several times. Tony Khan has said in the past that he doesn't just fire people, right, when they have years left on the deal. He's not going to do that. He's not going to let people go like that in that way. And the AEW's departures so far, have lived up to that. We've had a few disciplinary issues that have led to people leaving the company. Guys like Jimmy Havoc, for example, obviously was accused of some terrible things during the Speaking Out movement. We've had people who couldn't travel to the shows, couldn't get to work as a result of the global pandemic. I'm talking talking Sadie Gibbs, I'm talking Bea Priestley, who's in WWE now. But yeah, for the most part, they're not just swinging the axe and going, hey, we don't need you anymore. I don't care if you got 2 years left on your deal. That's not a thing they're doing. They're letting these deals elapse, and there is a big difference between cutting someone who is, say, halfway through a contract and letting a business arrangement elapse once obligations on both sides have been fulfilled. But always sucks to cover people losing their jobs. It always does, but it's part of the job, it's part of the industry, and it's a reality of the situation. The AEW roster is very, very big, and we will continue covering these developments as they come. We'll fill you in all across the board. But for now, thanks for joining me here for this update on the situation. You can follow us on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. You can follow me at Andy H. Murray on Twitter. The H stands for... hey, people losing their jobs sucks, but it's part of the job. We're going to cover it, we're going to talk about it, and we'll have more over the coming days. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.